What if I told you that the city that once promised to make you feel like royalty is now treating you like a walking ATM? Picture this. You book a weekend getaway to Las Vegas, excited for the legendary hospitality and world-class entertainment, only to discover that every single interaction comes with a price tag you never saw coming. The neon lights still sparkle, the fountains still dance, but behind that glittering facade lies a systematic operation designed to extract money from your pocket at every turn. How did the entertainment capital of the world transform into what frustrated visitors now call Fee City? The shocking truth is that Las Vegas has quietly revolutionized the art of hidden charges, turning what used to be complimentary experiences into profit centers that would make a Wall Street executive blush. Stay with us as we expose the 10 most outrageous hidden costs that are driving tourists away from the Strip, and revealing how corporate greed has turned Sin City into something far more sinister. The digital deception, when your cocktail becomes a stock market. Remember when Vegas bars had printed menus with actual prices? Those days have vanished faster than your money at a rigged slot machine. Today's Las Vegas has embraced a technological nightmare that would make even the greediest casino owner from the old days shake their head in disgust. Welcome to the world of algorithmic drink pricing, where your margarita costs more than some people's dinner depending on what time you order it. Here's how this digital highway robbery works. Walk into any major strip resort at 3 p.m. and order a standard cocktail. You might pay $18. Return to that exact same bar stool at 10 p.m. Order the identical drink from the same bartender using the same ingredients, and suddenly you're looking at a $28 charge. The alcohol didn't age like fine wine in those 7 hours, and the service didn't magically improve. What happened is that a computer algorithm decided your thirst was worth more money because more people wanted drinks at peak hours. This isn't just surge pricing, it's psychological warfare disguised as business innovation. The old Vegas made you feel generous because drinks flowed freely, especially if you were gambling. Bartenders knew your name, comped your cocktails, and made you feel like the casino's most valued guest. Now every sip comes with the bitter aftertaste of knowing you're being actively manipulated by software that treats your relaxation like an Uber ride during a thunderstorm. The financial damage compounds quickly. What starts as a $10 price swing on one drink becomes a $100 surprise when you're out with friends for a bachelor party or girls' weekend. Multiply that across multiple venues and suddenly your cocktail budget looks like a car payment. Worse yet, this system has infected day clubs, pool parties, and even casual restaurant bars. The algorithm doesn't sleep, and it doesn't care if you're celebrating your anniversary or drowning your sorrows. Perhaps most insulting is how these price changes happen without warning. There's no notification on your phone, no announcement over the speaker system, no friendly heads-up from staff. You simply swipe your card and discover that happy hour was canceled by artificial intelligence while you were in the bathroom. Guests report feeling ambushed, manipulated, and fundamentally disrespected by a city that once prided itself on treating every visitor like royalty. The ripple effects are already visible throughout the city. Savvy travelers now pre-game at off-strip establishments where prices remain honest and predictable. Others smuggle alcohol into their rooms to avoid the gaming altogether. Most damaging for Las Vegas, and visitors leave town with stories about algorithmic price manipulation instead of fond memories of hospitality and entertainment. Word spreads fast in the social media age, and Las Vegas is earning a reputation for technological greed that threatens the very foundation of its tourism industry. The view tax, monetizing Mother Nature and city lights. Once upon a time, scoring a room with a strip view or fountain perspective felt like hitting the jackpot, a delightful surprise that elevated your entire Vegas experience. Hotel staff would beam with pride as they handed you keys to a room overlooking the Bellagio's dancing waters or the sparkling lights of the boulevard. Those magical moments have been calculated, categorized, and converted into another revenue stream that treats natural beauty and urban spectacle like premium cable channels. In today's Las Vegas, that same window view costs between $25 and $75 per night in mandatory scenic view charges or premium location fees. These charges appear on your bill whether you requested a specific view or not. If your room happens to face anything more interesting than a parking structure or loading dock, congratulations, you've been automatically enrolled in the View Tax program. Some properties have become so brazen they charge extra for rooms facing the sphere, essentially billing guests for the privilege of looking at a giant LED advertisement. The psychological impact cuts deeper than the financial sting. Vegas built its entire mystique on spectacle, on the idea that stepping into this desert oasis meant entering a world where the ordinary rules didn't apply. The skyline, the fountains, the endless parade of lights, these weren't amenities to be nickel and dimed, they were the soul of the Vegas experience. Now, the city is literally putting a price tag on wonder, charging tourists for the very sights that brought them to Nevada in the first place. The implementation feels particularly dishonest because these charges often appear in fine print that would challenge a contract lawyer to decipher. Guests book rooms based on advertised rates, only to discover at checkout that their brief glimpse of the Strip earned them an extra $50 per night. There's no opt-out option, no alternative rate for those who'd happily face a brick wall to save money. The charge exists purely because hotels realized they could get away with it. What makes this practice sting even more is the lack of transparency. Guests are not told up front, and by the time they realize, they are already trapped in a system that leaves them with no real choice. This monetization of basic visual experience creates a bizarre gaming dynamic where guests actively seek out rooms with worse views to avoid penalty charges. Some travelers specifically request lower floors, back-facing rooms, or properties with obstructed sightlines just to escape the view tax. The irony is staggering. Las Vegas, a city built on the principle of giving visitors more than they expected, now rewards tourists for expecting less. And as word spreads, savvy travelers enter bookings with skepticism rather than excitement, scanning for hidden traps rather than daydreaming about their vacation. The long-term damage extends beyond individual disappointment. When hotels charge for views that used to be complimentary perks, they fundamentally alter the relationship between guest and destination. Instead of feeling lucky to experience Vegas magic, visitors feel targeted by a system designed to extract maximum revenue from minimal effort. That shift in perception travels home with every tourist and spreads through social networks, gradually poisoning Las Vegas's reputation for generous hospitality. Over time, this resentment builds into collective disillusionment, turning once loyal visitors into critics who warn others to stay away, eroding the very foundation of trust that the city depends on. The Oasis Toll, desert pool access behind paywalls. In the middle of the Mojave Desert, where summer temperatures regularly exceed 110 degrees, access to water isn't just a luxury, it's a survival necessity. Las Vegas understood this fundamental truth when it built its reputation on spectacular pool complexes that rivaled ancient Roman bathhouses. These aquatic playgrounds weren't just amenities, they were lifelines that made desert living bearable and desert tourism possible. Today, those same pools have become profit centers wrapped in layers of fees that would make a medieval tax collector envious. Strip resorts now charge anywhere from $20 to $40 per person and per day just for pool access, even when guests are already paying premium room rates that should theoretically include basic hotel amenities. Want to reserve a lounge chair? That's an additional $25 to $50 daily charge. Eyeing one of those coveted shaded cabanas? Break out the credit card for a triple-digit commitment that costs more than some people's monthly gym membership. The justification for these charges typically involves buzzwords about managing capacity and maintaining premium experiences. but the reality is transparently financial. Hotels realized they could transform their pools from cost centers requiring maintenance, staffing, and upkeep into revenue generators that pay for themselves multiple times over. The transformation is complete. What used to be a desert oasis has become a desert mirage with a cover charge. For families, the financial mathematics become particularly brutal. A mother and father bringing 2 children to Vegas for a week-long vacation might face $800 in pool access fees alone, assuming they can find chairs and want to enjoy the water they thought they'd already purchased through their room booking. Many parents report the sticker shock is so severe they skip pool time entirely, instead seeking out public pools, off-strip hotels, or short-term rental properties with private pool access. The psychological damage runs even deeper than the financial hit. Vegas built its mythology on the concept of abundance, the idea that stepping into a casino resort meant entering a world where your comfort and enjoyment were the primary concerns. Charging guests to swim in chlorinated water under the desert sun shatters that illusion completely. It sends the message that every moment of relaxation, every basic comfort, every simple pleasure has been evaluated by accountants and assigned a price point. Perhaps most ironically, these pool fees are being implemented at the same time Las Vegas is struggling with over-tourism and overcrowding at many resort pools. Instead of using price as a natural demand management tool, by incorporating it transparently into room rates, hotels have chosen to surprise guests with additional charges that feel punitive rather than premium. The result is widespread resentment from visitors who feel ambushed by costs they never anticipated and never agreed to pay. The financial gauntlet, from ATM robbery to room service ransom. The systematic extraction of money from Vegas visitors extends far beyond pool passes and view charges into every basic financial transaction a tourist might need to complete. The city has transformed routine services into elaborate profit centers that would embarrass even the most aggressive payday loan operation. At the center of this financial predation sits the humble ATM, once a simple convenience that has evolved into a technological highway robber wearing a digital mask. Casino ATMs throughout the Strip now charge $10 to $15 per withdrawal, before your home bank adds its own fees for out-of-network usage. Pull out $100 and you're immediately down 15% before touching a slot machine or blackjack table. During peak periods like New Year's Eve, Super Bowl weekend, or major conventions, some machines reportedly implement surge pricing similar to ride-sharing apps, increasing fees when demand spikes. The message is clear. Las Vegas will tax you for the privilege of accessing your own money. The ripple effects of these predatory ATM fees change fundamental tourist behavior in ways that ultimately harm the city's economy. Many visitors now arrive with large amounts of cash to avoid fees entirely, increasing their risk of theft and creating security concerns for hotels. Others seek out off-strip banks and credit unions for withdrawals, reducing foot traffic in the areas where Las Vegas most wants them spending money. Most significantly, tourists who feel robbed before they start gambling are far less likely to gamble freely, reducing the very revenue Las Vegas built its economy on. Room service represents another front in this financial war against tourist wallets. What used to be a simple indulgence has become a masterclass in hidden fee layering that would impress a telecommunications company. Order a $25 burger through room service and watch the bill climb to $45 after delivery fees, service charges, mandatory gratuities, and processing costs. The food quality often fails to justify even the base price, with guests receiving lukewarm meals that taste like they traveled from a casino buffet rather than a hotel kitchen. The psychological manipulation embedded in these room service charges is particularly insidious. Mandatory gratuity percentages of 18 to 22% are applied before guests have any opportunity to evaluate service quality. Then, Because these gratuities often don't reach the actual delivery staff, guests feel social pressure to add additional tips, creating a double-dipping scenario that leaves everyone except hotel accounting departments unsatisfied. Sports betting, the activity that built Las Vegas's reputation and remains central to its identity, hasn't escaped the fee infestation either. Casinos now add technology fees, ranging from 3 to 5% on all sports wagers, supposedly to maintain digital infrastructure and betting apps. This means a $100 bet actually costs $105 before any consideration of odds or outcomes. The house edge, already mathematically favorable to casinos, has been supplemented with an additional tax that exists purely for profit extraction rather than game operation. These financial obstacles create a cascade of resentment that poisons every subsequent interaction between visitors and the city. When tourists feel nickeled and dimed for basic services, they approach every other Vegas experience with suspicion and defensive budgeting rather than the open-hearted generosity that made Las Vegas profitable in the first place. The final insult: entertainment fees and environmental exploitation. Just when visitors think they've navigated the gauntlet of hidden charges, Las Vegas delivers its final combination punch through entertainment ticketing and environmental fee manipulation that would make a con artist study their techniques. The city that once prided itself on world-class shows and performances has transformed ticket purchasing into an exhausting endurance test for both wallets and patience. Concert tickets advertised at $150 routinely cost $200 or more after processing fees, convenience charges, facility fees, and service costs pile onto the base price. These aren't taxes or government-mandated additions. They're pure profit margin disguised as operational necessities. Walking to the box office provides no relief, as the same fees are baked into in-person transactions. The result is a staggering 25 to 40% markup that exists purely to generate revenue while providing no meaningful additional value whatsoever to customers. For families planning Las Vegas entertainment, and these fee structures create impossible budgeting scenarios. A group of 4 attending a Cirque du Soleil show can watch $200 evaporate into administrative charges before they've parked their rental car. The financial unpredictability makes trip planning nearly impossible and creates resentment before the curtain even rises. Many families report skipping ticketed entertainment entirely, choosing free strip attractions, or leaving Las Vegas for other destinations where prices are transparent and honest. The entertainment fee epidemic extends beyond traditional venues into every corner of Las Vegas's hospitality industry. Sports bars add venue surcharges to food and drink orders. Restaurants implement concession fees that appear on bills without explanation. Even casino gaming itself isn't immune, with some establishments adding technology surcharges to slot machine play and table game participation. Perhaps most cynically, Las Vegas has begun implementing environmental fees, or carbon offset charges, that range from $4 to $8 per night, supposedly to fund sustainability initiatives and offset energy costs. The irony is breathtaking. Guests are asked to pay extra for environmental responsibility in a city famous for pumping air conditioning into open-air shopping centers, shooting water hundreds of feet into the desert sky through fountain shows, and illuminating the night sky with enough neon to be visible from space. These environmental fees represent the pinnacle of corporate gaslighting, weaponizing environmental consciousness to extract additional revenue while providing no transparency about how the money is actually used. Guests who question the fee are made to feel guilty about environmental destruction, while the city continues operating massive energy-consuming spectacles that dwarf any individual tourist's carbon footprint. The psychological manipulation is particularly effective because it exploits social pressure around environmental responsibility. Nobody wants to appear anti-environment, so most guests pay the fee without complaint while privately resenting the obvious cash grab. Travel forums overflow with complaints about these charges, with visitors sharing strategies to find accommodations that don't implement environmental fee schemes. Most damaging for Las Vegas's long-term prospects, these layers of hidden fees fundamentally alter the relationship between the city and its visitors. What once felt like a destination that wanted to entertain and delight guests now feels like a sophisticated extraction operation designed to separate tourists from their money through any means necessary. The magic is gone, replaced by receipts, surcharges, and the constant anxiety of wondering what additional cost will appear next. So there you have it, the 10 hidden costs that have transformed Las Vegas from America's playground into America's most expensive tourist trap. What used to be a city that made you feel rich has become a city that makes you poor, one surcharge at a time. The real tragedy isn't just the money, it's the death of Vegas magic itself, replaced by algorithmic greed and calculated corporate manipulation that now treats every single guest like a vulnerable mark, waiting to be shamelessly fleeced without mercy. Have you encountered these predatory fees during your own Vegas adventures? Share your horror stories in the comments below, and let's build a database of tourist warnings that might save someone else from getting financially ambushed in the desert. If this investigation into Las Vegas's hidden fee epidemic opened your eyes to how modern tourism has been weaponized against travelers, smash that subscribe button, because we're just getting started exposing how America's favorite destinations have turned against the very people who made them famous. The house always wins, but now you know exactly how they're stacking the deck.